Culture and nationalism. Culture and nationalism. Our lesson is beginning with the words of Jawaharlal Nehru, a part taken from his The Discovery of India. You please read that. In that part, you can see that he's saying about Jawaharlal Nehru is saying about the unity in diversity of India. There are several diversities in the case of the dress code, customs, religious beliefs, festivals, social customs, social life, way of life, in language that's spoken. Everywhere in various parts of India there are diversities, but there is a feeling among the people that we are Indians. That is the unity in diversity. The diversity of India is tremendous, it is obvious, it lies on the surface and everybody can see it. That's the word of Jawaharlal Nehru. It is on the surface and anybody can see it. But in the interior, in the inner part, there is unity. That unity is on the basis of the culture of India, in the cultural heritage of India. And here we are going to study about how this cultural heritage, cultural unity that created nationalism among Indians, that is called as cultural nationalism. How the culture caused for the development of nationalism. What is nationalism? That we studied already. The definition of nationalism is given there in our textbook. Nationalism is the sense of unity that exists among the people of a nation irrespective of caste, creed, religion and region. That is nationalism. It's the sense of unity. Nationalism is the sense of unity among the people, irrespective of all differences. The British government about how the economic exploitation of British that created a protest among Indians, how that created a nationalism in India. That nationalism is termed as economic nationalism. The nationalism that developed as a result of the economic exploitation, as a result of the protest against the economic exploitation, that is called as economic nationalism. Against the cultural invasion and another protest that aroused in India, as a part of it the nationalism that arose, that is called as cultural nationalism. Cultural nationalism. The radical changes in society and cultural spheres that cherish nationalism among the people, that is called as cultural nationalism. In 19th century, India witnessed two types of protests in the ideological and cultural spheres. Two types of protests that are given there in our textbook. You please see that. Which are they? Protest against inequality, violations of rights, and social evils which existed in Indian society. And the protest against the economic exploitation of the colonial forces. And these protests that created these two types of protests that created the nationalism in India, economic nationalism and cultural nationalism. Socio-cultural activities and agitations at various levels that positively influenced social life, the press, education, literature, art, etc. And here we are going to discuss about the colonial rule and nationalism for the beginning. Translated the Sanskrit and Persian works of India to English and began to study about it. They established several institutions to study about India. That were Asiatic Society of Bengal, founded by William Jones; Calcutta Madrasa, founded by Warren Hastings; Banaras Sanskrit College, founded by Jonathan Duncan. Through these institutions and through the studies, they tried to understand what's the reason behind the unity of India. Then later British rulers realized that it was not possible to know India well through these efforts alone. It is not possible to distract India by studying this on. Then they thought for another way and they started English education to nurture a fraction of Indian society that would support Britain. They started English education to nurture a fraction of Indian society that would support Britain. The words of Lord Macaulay, that's given there in our textbook. The statement made by Lord Macaulay when English education was started in India in 1835, that's given there in our textbook. You please read that. Our aim is to create a class of persons, Indians in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinion, in morals, and in intellect. This was the statement of Lord Macaulay, the mind of Britain behind the introduction of English education in India, that is lying there. Then what else? To create generation, English in taste, to create a generation who support British. All these were the aims of Britain while starting English education in India. Then through this English education, they tried to intrude into Indian society. They began to influence the Indian culture. Then the efforts of cultural invasion of British that were realized by the Indians, some of the patriotic Indians who got English education. Some Indian leaders found that it is necessary to defend, to resist this cultural invasion of British. Most of them were English educated Indians who internationalized the concepts like democracy, liberty, rationalism, equality, scientific temper, socialism, civil rights, etc. The educated people of India gave leadership to resist against the British cultural invasion. To resist, they ventured to reform the social customs and rituals prevailed in India. To resist, to defend the invasion of English culture, they tried to reform Indian society, Indian language, art and literature. It motivated to protest against the inequalities and violations of rights and created a sense of unity among the people. That means the reform movements in India that created a sense of unity. Social reform movements were started. All these movements had two aims mainly, two objectives: to eradicate evils and superstitions that existed in Indian society, to ensure equal civil rights to education, travel, dress code. The socio-economic situation in India was not favorable to achieve these goals. Which goals? To eradicate the social evils and superstitions, and to ensure equal civil rights to education and dress code. For that, to achieve these goals, the social reformers of India put forward some proposals that are of all: eliminate discrimination against women, provide education to all, promote widow remarriage, abolish child marriage, and eliminate the supremacy of clergy. These were the proposals of reformers to achieve their reform goals. The important social reformer was Rajaram Mohan Roy. Rajaram Mohan Roy was the pioneer among the social reformers who strived for modernization of Indian society. Rajaram Mohan Roy, you may have heard his name. He founded the Brahma Samaj in Bengal to conduct social reform programs. He opposed the caste system. He opposed against the evil customs that prevailed in society like sati. And the British government was forced to make laws to stop such social evils. Rajaram Mohan Roy propagated the idea of unity of Indians against the socially fragmented situation on the basis of caste. Indian society was fragmented into pieces like on the basis of castes. Caste difference were there. Social customs were there that were against the unity of Indian people, that were exploited by the British. By understanding, by realizing this exploitation, Rajaram Mohan Roy and other social reformers tried to make a unity. Thus, the concept of a unified nation became one of the objectives of social reform. One of the objectives of social reform, it was a unified nation. A unified nation became one of the objectives of social reform. To improve the status of women, Rajaram Mohan Roy advocated for the right of women to own property. The right of women from various parts of India gave leadership to social reforms in India. In Bengal, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he argued for widow remarriage. As a result, British government passed the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act in 1856. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar also established the educational institutions for women education. Such efforts were started in different parts of India and founded several educational institutions for women. Sharda Sadan in Bombay, established by Pandita Ramabai, was one of the important institutions among them. several such social reform movements that started in different part of India and including Kerala. You may have heard about SNDP, Srinarayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam in Kerala, that started in Kerala by Srinarayana Guru. Such several social reform movements were started in different part of India, like Arya Samaj, Ramakrishna Mission, Aligarh movement, Prarthana Samaj, Theological Society, Theosophical Society, etc. A list of the social reform movements and the reformers and their ideologies that are given there in our textbook as a chart. You please read that and you please study that. And as a result of all these social reform activities that started in different parts of India, the British government was forced to abolish many social evils that existed in various parts of the country. They introduced several laws, prevented the marriage of girls below 12 years of age, banned female infanticide, abolished sati, permitted widow remarriage, abolished slavery, prevented child marriage and polygamy. All these were the legislations that were introduced by British, abolishing the social evils. The British government was forced to implement or to make laws, make legislations to stop the evil practice in India because of the social reform movements that started in India. It created a cultural unity among the people. That created nationalism, cultural nationalism. And the role of, now we are going to wind up. Namaskaram.